The world's oldest billionaire, George Joseph. His age will blow your mind. Imagine a man who is more than 100 years old. A man who has lived through 2 world wars, endured the poverty of the Great Depression, watched America transform over decades, and is still standing alive on the list of the world's richest people. Because when we talk about wealth, our minds usually jump to 40 to 50-year-old tech founders, private jets, and startup stories. But what if I told you that the world's oldest billionaire is not 100, but 104 years old? Would you believe it? That is the question that has stunned the entire world. You know the world's richest person, 54-year-old Elon Musk. You also recognize Asia's richest man, 68-year-old Mukesh Ambani. Their businesses, lifestyles, and wealth stay in the news all the time. But have you ever stopped to think about who the world's oldest wealthy man is? And the bigger question, how did he build such massive wealth while living such a long life? When people search this question on Google, a name appears that most have never even heard before. That name is George Joseph. Age, 104 years. And yes, he is not a retired billionaire who is rich only in name. He is still listed on Forbes' billionaire list. That's the point where people are truly shocked. George Joseph is counted among the world's oldest living billionaires today. His name on the Forbes billionaire list stands out not just because of his wealth, but because of his age. But his story does not begin in a luxury mansion. His story begins with poverty, struggle, and circumstances where life was simply about survival. George Joseph was born in 1921 in West Virginia, USA. West Virginia at that time was nothing like it is today. It was an extremely poor state, where most people worked in coal mines for a living. George's father was also a coal miner. His family was far removed from wealth. They raised pigs and chickens, grew vegetables, and somehow managed to survive. In those days, dreaming itself was considered a luxury. George Joseph himself has said that his family owned only a small piece of land, and the entire household depended on it. From food to clothing, everything was limited. But amid all this, his mother had one firm determination, that her son would study. No matter how tough the circumstances were, education would not be compromised. That determination later became the biggest turning point of George Joseph's life. For George Joseph, growing up in poverty, education was not easy. But his mother believed that education was the only path that could take her son beyond this limited world. That is why, despite countless hardships, George was encouraged to study. Books were not just knowledge for him. They were an escape, a doorway to a world where the walls of poverty could be broken. In his youth, George Joseph witnessed America going through another massive change. The era of the Second World War had begun. The country was under the shadow of war. George Joseph volunteered for military service as well. This was a time when young people were not thinking only about their careers, but also about the future of their nation. War taught him discipline, taught him to take risks, and most importantly, taught him how to live with uncertainty. After the war, George Joseph pursued his education seriously. He completed his graduation in mathematics and physics from Harvard University. This was a huge achievement in itself, especially for someone who came from a poor farming family. Studying at Harvard changed the way he thought. Numbers were no longer just calculations. They became tools for decision-making. After his studies, George Joseph entered the insurance industry. He began working at Occidental Life Insurance Company. Office work during the day and selling life insurance policies door to door at night. That was his routine. The line between day and night disappeared. While others slept, George knocked on doors. It was not an easy job. People refused, shut doors in his face, and sometimes he even had to endure humiliation. But this very struggle took George Joseph to the core of the insurance business. He began to understand what risk really was, why people feared risk, and that insurance was not something to be sold, but something to be explained. This experience later became the foundation of his biggest business decision. In 1962, using his experience and understanding of risk analysis, George Joseph founded Mercury General Corporation. The beginning was very small. Just 6 team members and around 90 agents. There were no big investors, no glamorous office. But the vision was clear. George wanted insurance to be transparent, not complicated. He named his company after Mercury, the Roman god, a symbol of speed and communication. For him, it was not just a name, but a philosophy. Mercury General gradually expanded from automobile insurance to home and business insurance. The company's focus always remained on understanding risk and building customer trust. Over time, Mercury General Corporation became a strong insurance brand in the United States. Under George Joseph's leadership, the company witnessed multiple economic cycles, market crashes, and fierce competition. But it never lost its stability. Perhaps that is why George Joseph is still regarded with respect in the business world today. Now let's talk about wealth, because this is where people are most surprised. According to Forbes, George Joseph's real-time net worth is around $2.5 billion. He ranks approximately 1,661st on the list of the world's richest people. This ranking may not place him in the top 10, but remaining a billionaire at the age of 104 is a record in itself. The most fascinating part is that George Joseph's wealth was not built overnight. There was no tech boom, no crypto rally. His wealth is the result of decades of patience, discipline, and long-term thinking. He never believed in quick money. For him, business was a marathon, not a sprint. In a world filled with instant success stories, George Joseph's life raises an uncomfortable question. Does wealth come only from sharp intelligence and perfect timing, or do consistency and age also play a role? George Joseph is a living answer to that question. At 104 years old, George Joseph is not just the world's oldest rich man. He is a reminder that success has no fixed age. He showed how the right decisions, small steps taken at the right time, and long-term thinking can take a person from nowhere to extraordinary heights. Perhaps that is why, the next time you look at a list of the world's wealthy people, don't be impressed only by the youngest billionaire. Pause for a moment on the name of the man who has seen more than a century of life and is still rich in both wealth and wisdom.
If our video has taught you something new, do not forget to like and share this video so that this information can reach others as well. Your likes and shares are a source of inspiration for us. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let us know in the comments. It will be our honor to answer your questions and listen to suggestions. And yes, if you like our content, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you stay connected with every new story. Thank you. GRT Business YouTube channel sources, news from various news agencies, opinion polls and other public sources. We try to ensure that every report and summary is accurate and verified, but we are not responsible for any dispute or error. Our aim is only to provide you with accurate information.